friends, Shay here. Please pardon my neighbor mowing the lawn if it picks up on the microphone. I don't know if it will, but please pardon them. Anyways, I am here to open this vlog for you. In this vlog, I'm going to be reading 20 new volume 1s that I've been kind of storing up for a while. I have a lot more. There will be a part 2 coming soon, but I felt like this was going to get too long if I kept going any longer. So with that said, let's dive into the 20 volumes that I've read. I'll see you at the end. Good morning, friends. So I'm here with my first update. I've got 3 volume 1s that I'm going to show you that I've read and I want to discuss with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first one I've got here is My Secret Affection Volume 1. Now, I did sit in the bookstore and read this one before I decided to purchase it for my own. So in this one, we have these 2 childhood friends who live in a world where being queer is the norm, where you are homosexually attracted rather than heterosexually attracted. But at least our female heroine has heterosexual feelings for her childhood best friend. And throughout the course of the series, we're starting to see some other people may have heterosexual feelings as well. But I've heard a lot of criticism about this particular series, but I think this is a really good look at what life can look like for someone who's queer. And so I think it's nice to kind of flip it, to see it the other way, because some people wouldn't understand how a queer person would feel in a situation like this, but to make it a heterosexual person, they can understand it a little bit better. So it's just a way to kind of spin the perspective so that you can get a better understanding of how someone who's queer might feel in the middle of a bunch of heterosexual people. So being someone who's queer myself, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. I'm really excited to continue. The art in this is absolutely stunning, and I just can't get enough of it. It's amazing. It is seriously so good. I really want more people to give this one a try. Again, sit in the bookstore and read it before you buy it if you're worried. But I don't think there's anything to be worried about, and I think it's a really good look, as I've said multiple times. So again, I'm very excited. I thoroughly enjoyed this and would definitely recommend it to you guys. The next one you guys have heard me talk about a little bit at this point, and that is Love's in Sight. This is a new one out from Viz. This is a shonen series, and we've got this delinquent boy who's 18 and this blind girl who's 16. One day she runs into him while he's like with his crew, and she accidentally knocks him in the junk with her cane. And then she's like, she finds out, he describes himself to her, and she finds out he has a scar, and she reaches up to touch him, and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And it's the first time someone's really like shown care to him. And so he becomes gaga for her. So it's essentially this mutual like crushing thing going on here. He's starting to learn how the world can be difficult for her. Sometimes he gets it right when he tries to make the world better for her, and sometimes he doesn't look at the whole picture. So this is a really good look at how someone who is not blind would end up learning how to help and be with someone who is blind. It's done in a really fun, comedic way. It is kind of a pseudo 4-panel style, but it's really more along the lines of, it is a little episodic, but it has a more cohesive story all the way through. So that's why I'm like, it's not really a true 4-coma, but it has that kind of art style where it's just the wide panels like this. And it's really well done. I really love it. I giggled and laughed the whole way through. So if you're looking for something that's going to be a lot of fun and really sweet along the way, I think this one's going to be a really good fit for you. Again, I'm definitely going to be picking up more of this one, especially because it's only 8 volumes and it's complete in Japan. So it's not like we're going to be waiting for more. Whatever pace Viz chooses to release this is fine, and we're going to get it all. So I'm good with that. And that the fact that it's complete makes me think that it's not going to get long and drawn out like some of the other series that we've come across that have been like this, even like Komi. Because Komi's what, 24 volumes in English right now? I'm not even sure it's finished in Japan yet. And knowing that this one's complete, it's not going to get drug out, and it's going to be a really good time. So I'm really excited to continue with this one. This next one, I'm a little more nervous to continue, but I'm intrigued enough that I may read the second volume. I'm not sure I'm going to purchase it yet, but I'm at least going to read it. And that is Boys Abyss. Now, Boys Abyss there is a whole host of triggers here. There is gaslighting. There is, you know, abuse of a minor. There's our female main character gropes our male main character. It's an older female, younger male. This poor kid is manipulated up, down, and sideways. This has triggers for suicide and suicide ideation especially. There's a suicide pact in here. It is a very intense series. So I think if you're a fan of like Shuzo Oshimi or Inio Asano, I think this one would work for you. There is sexual content within this first volume. It is explicit. So if you are not into that, this won't be the series for you. But essentially, we're in this small town. There's this boy who's being manipulated every which way. And he finds out that his favorite pop idol has now moved into his town and ends up running into her, and things go from there. That's all I'm going to say because I don't really want to spoil the whole plot of this first one. But again, if you like those other mangakas, I think this one would be a good fit for you. If not, then maybe borrow it from a friend or see if you can get it from the library first, or if it's on the Viz app. It's a Viz signature title, so I don't know. But maybe try it that way first before you purchase, because again, this one is intense. I'm willing to try the second volume and then we'll go from there. But outside of that, it's an intense one and not going to be for everybody. So I'm going to tell you that up front. So those are the only 3 I've read for this vlog so far. I've got another pile of 3 I want to get read today. So I may be back in the same outfit. I may not. We will see. We'll see how the morning goes. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello. It's time for the next clip of this vlog. So I've got 5 volumes that I've read since we last chatted. So let's go ahead and dive in. First up, we have one of the ones that Viz kindly sent me, and that is Dark Gathering. Now, this one follows 2 main characters. We're following this girl here, and then a boy who's just entering college, I believe. He doesn't want anything to do with the supernatural, but the supernatural tends to find him because he has this site where he can see them, and he's reluctantly a ghost magnet, essentially. And so what happens is he ends up tutoring this girl. She's an elementary schooler who is obsessed with all things paranormal and yokai and ghost and death, and she's just like the creepy little goth girl, and she has a creepy collection of dolls and everything, and basically it's about their friendship and how she keeps dragging him into paranormal situations, but she can't fully do what she feels she needs to do without his help. And so it's a very interesting story of friendship at this point. And he feels a lot of guilt because of something that happened when he was younger. And I'm not going to divulge too much more information than that right now. But I ended up really enjoying this. I thought the art style was actually really fun. And like she's got these really cool like skulls in her eyes and stuff. And this was just really fun. I really ended up enjoying this. I am curious enough to pick up volume 2 for sure. And yeah, if this sounds appealing to you, I believe it's coming out in May. Viz sent it to me a little bit early in the box, so I appreciate them for sending me a box at all. But I did ultimately really enjoy Dark Gathering, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if it sounds intriguing to you. The next one I have here is Sunbeams in the Sky. This is a new shoujo out from Yen. And essentially, this girl basically had a traumatic thing happen as she was entering high school. She went to a different school than her twin sister and some things like that. And so because of the trauma, she's been living at home. She's not gotten to go back to school because of the trauma. And her twin sister says, hey, I need you to go to school for me today. Switch with me. Kind of trying to push her outside of her comfort zone. And in some ways that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to be upfront about that because she's almost overly pushy. But when she gets there, she starts to befriend this boy here. I believe, what is his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyways, he's very sweet, very princely. He's considered one of the princes. But her twin likes his best friend who's like the jock. And so she likes him and the twin likes the other one. And so it's just very, very interesting because she's not acting like her twin does at school when it comes to this guy she likes. And so it's just very interesting to see how different they are, but how accepting everyone is of the differences when she's there. And he seems to really like her, so I'm really excited for the secret to kind of die away and to see what develops between the two of them. So I am very excited to see what's going to happen here, and it's going to be a good time. Very, very excited. The next one I read here is a little bit of an intense one, but a really good one, and that was Is Love the Answer? Basically, we are dealing with a person who ultimately is like asexual, aromantic kind of in the beginning, but she's just asexual, where she doesn't really feel sexual desire. She's probably more demi, honestly, where if she has a deep connection with someone, she could. But she feels all this pressure to like try dating. Every time she does, it doesn't go well. And so she's now entering college. She's meeting more like-minded people. And it's truly a beautiful situation. I really enjoy this. And I am so excited. I hope we get more from this mangaka in the future. Because one, artistically, I really enjoy the art. And just the storytelling within it. It might have been a little self-insert and stuff. But ultimately, it was really amazing. And just, you know, her chance to learn about herself was a beautiful experience. I would definitely recommend checking this one out. I just got lost in the art there, flipping through it for a minute. And then I have two by the same mangaka. So these are both by Sayaka Mogi, sorry. And they're from the same world. And this is the Red Riding Hood's Wolf Apprentice world. And so we have this man, this one. And I believe he has the red hair. And then she's just his apprentice. Anyways, this is a really beautiful, feels like a fairy tale kind of world. They're super short, so I really don't want to say much about them, other than they're stunning. These are from Glacier Bay Books. I ordered it directly from them. I mean, they're not just the cheapest things you're ever going to order, but they are beautifully made. Everything is high quality. The paper, the printing, I mean, the art within it is absolutely stunning as well. Like, even just the coloring here, like, it's so worth it. Like, if these were in one volume, I would have been okay. Like, but I still think they're worth the money. I am so happy to have them. I'm going to try to face them out on my shelf when I'm reorganizing, but I don't know if I'm going to have freaking room. That's a video for another day, though. So that is where I'm at currently with this vlog. Behind me here is the stack that I'm hoping to work through. We'll see what happens. And I will talk to you guys when I've read a few more volumes. Hi, friends. So let's quickly talk about the 7 volume 1s that I've read since I last chatted with you. So first up, let's talk about Cinderella Closet Volume 1, because this is great. I feel like this one is a little bit more of what I wanted Princess Jellyfish to be, if I'm totally and completely honest, because in Cinderella Closet, we have Haruka. She's very plain, just getting into college, doesn't really know how to be girly and cutesy. Like, she never got into that until she was older, so she felt leagues behind. She has an incident with a beautiful person on campus. They help her get beautiful, and she starts to impress her crush. The only problem is this beautiful person also has a crush on our female lead. So things kind of develop from there. It's a little more on the like messy side than Princess Jellyfish was, but I am loving the dynamic. So if you're a fan of Princess Jellyfish and you were wanting something similar but a little more, I think Cinderella Closet is going to be great for you. I really am enjoying the whole experience of this. It does have the same trope that Princess Jellyfish does. I'm not going to tell you what that trope is. If you've read it, you know. So that won't spoil anybody who hasn't read it. So anyways, absolutely adore this. Definitely high on my pickup list because it was so, so good. The next one I read here was actually a standalone, and it is The Snake Who Loved a Sparrow. And this was really sweet. A really nice Tokyo Pop BL. I would give it like a 3.5. It didn't do anything I hadn't seen before. The concept of two different species falling in love is something that Tokyo Pop does often. So again, it's not something I haven't seen before, but the art was stunning, and I just really ended up enjoying myself throughout. And it was really sweet. Do I think it's worth the $14 they're charging for it? Maybe not. So maybe check it out from the library, borrow it from a friend, or get it on sale. It's really sweet. I'm not going to be like getting rid of it from my collection at this point. I enjoyed it enough I would revisit it. But if you haven't picked it up yet, it might not be the highest one on your priority list, in my opinion. The next one is one that I know y'all are waiting on my opinion on. And that is Chojin X. I did finally read volume 1 of this one. This is the same creator who does Tokyo Ghoul, which I have not read. So this is my first title from them. Now, art-wise, it's amazing. I would not change anything about this art-wise. It is absolutely perfection. I enjoyed everything about this. This is basically if Jujutsu Kaisen and Kaiju number 8 had a baby, it's this. That's what it feels like. So if you're a fan of either of those series, I would happily recommend this to you. It is really a solid series. In this, we're following Toiko, I believe is his name. Yeah, Toiko. And it ends up that he accidentally gets into a situation where, well, let me back up a little bit. In this world, there are Chojin. They are kind of like a demon and a human mixed together. So they have abnormal features, things like that. And Chojin kind of cause a lot of havoc in the community. But there is a group of Chojin who fight against the other Chojin. And when Toiko is caught in an instance with a Chojin, there's a serum there. He and his best friend, Azuma, I believe. Yeah, Azuma. End up taking the serum. The serum takes for Toiko, but not for Azuma. And things kind of go from there. I'm not going to say too much more because I'm afraid I'll spoil too much. But this first volume was intense. Viz kindly sent me the second volume as well, and I have read that, and I do plan on continuing to pick this one up. It is a solid new, I believe it's a shonen series. I'm not 100% sure. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself here. And I'm all in. And I didn't think I'd be, honestly. I was very nervous going into this one, but I ended up really enjoying it. So I would definitely recommend Chojin X if you have not started it yet. I think it is a fantastic series. And yes, high on pickup lists in my opinion. I've got 4 more here. So first up, Wolf Girl and Black Prince. Now this is an anime that we got in the mid-2000s or mid-2010s if I remember right. And so we've had the anime for a long while. I did try the first episode of the anime long ago and it didn't quite jive with me. And now that I've read this first volume, I'm still kind of feeling the same. Again, artistically, this one's great. I really love the art style here. Very classic shoujo art style. And in this one, basically, we have this girl who's entered high school and she's lying to all her friends about her boyfriend and how dirty he is with her and all these things. And then they are like, we think she's lying. We've never seen a photo, blah, blah, blah. And she's out on the street and takes a picture of this gorgeous guy who actually happens to attend the same school. So when he's confronted about them, he agrees. But then he says, okay, now you're my dog. You're just going to do whatever I tell you. And so the dynamic is very controlling in a way and very manipulative. So I can definitely see why people won't love this one quite so much. I enjoyed it enough that I would keep going at this point. But again, it's not one that I have to get on release day. It's a little lower on my pickup list. And I can understand why some people were disappointed it took so long to get this one, especially because we have the anime. But again, not highest on my pickup list of the things I've read so far in this video. So there's something for you. The next one I have here is another Tokyo Pop standalone, and that is The Flower That Seems to Truly Dance. Now, this is one that takes place during World War II times, so this one has a bit of a historical element. We have our blonde hero here, who, as a young child, cross-dressed and dressed as a female to dance. And it was a traditional style of dance. They were very sensual with it. And our dark-haired hero told them that they found him cute. And the next day, the blonde kid shows up with their hair cut, and the guy with the dark hair totally thought it was his fault. And then he goes off to war, years pass, and they end up running into each other again. And he doesn't really dance anymore, and things start to change between the two of them, and they start to voice their actual feelings. So I feel like this one has a lot of historical relevance where, you know, they both think the other doesn't want them because of culture and because of expectations of other people. And it's really beautiful. Again, great art style. Really love it. Enjoyed everything about it. I think actually, yes. And I had a great time. Again, kind of a 3.5, kind of like the Snake Who Loved a Sparrow. I did like this one a little bit better, so I would pick up this one before I'd pick up Snake Who Loved a Sparrow. But again, they were both solid. If you can, borrow it from a friend, pick it up from the library, or sit in the bookstore and read it. And then you can decide if you want to have it in your collection. If I were to get rid of one of these two, it would be the Snake Who Loved a Sparrow, because I would reread this one before I reread that one. Total honesty there. Okay, 2 more. I know this clip has been long. So the next one is The Invisible Man and His Soon-to-Be Wife. Now, this is absolutely adorable. When I picked this up, I did not remember that our heroine is also blind. So yes, we have an invisible man and this world is very paranormal, but we also have a blind heroine, and like she has a tablet that she can type her braille on, which I love. And I think there's a lot of really great things going on here. So she senses him and smells him and stuff. And so they start to kind of like date and have like the sweetest, most precious romance. Like, I am all in on this couple. They are absolutely adorable. It's kind of a little bit colored. It's not like full color, but you have this blue tone throughout that adds a lot to the story, in my opinion. It is, if you've read something like My Senpai is Annoying, it kind of has that vibe a little bit, but they're more aware of each other's feelings. Like, they go on a couple of dates in this volume, and they decide to start actually dating by the end of the volume. Like, it's absolutely adorable. I am all in on them. And I could understand why some people might not get along with this one because of the formatting of it. Again, it's a little more almost 4-coma style, but not quite. And I just adored everything about this. Like, this is very high on my pickup list. And this is like a release day style pickup. Like, I'm very all in on it. And the last one is my obsession out of this clip, and that is What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. I love everything about this manhwa. It is full color. And in this, Secretary Kim, after 9 years, has put in her notice with her boss. And he doesn't understand because he considers their relationship very close. And he doesn't understand why she just wants to live her life. He's like, I don't get it. And so she's like, I want to date. I want to have kids sooner rather than later. I feel my time, like my clock ticking, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, fine, I'll date you. Fine, I'll marry you. But like, it's also like blunt and not done with emotion that she's easily telling him no. So he keeps getting rejected by her, but that just makes him all the more determined to win her over. And I am obsessed with their dynamic because she finds him very attractive, but she also knows that he is an egotistical maniac and very much like, a narcissist. That's the word I was looking for. He's very much a narcissist, and that's not the kind of guy she wants. And she flat out tells him that. And so it's very interesting. I'm very excited to see where this one goes because I am obsessed with the two of them. There he is there on the back, and she's pulling his tie. And there's the really sweet thing where she actually learned how to tie his tie because she had made a mistake on the job and she wanted to like apologize for it. And so it starts this really cute dynamic between them. And he starts to realize that he's had feelings for her all along, even though she hasn't for him. And it's amazing. I am obsessed. Everything about What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Now, I know there's like a K-drama about it, but I'm enjoying reading it so much, I don't want to spoil myself for future reading. So I'm not going to be watching it. Maybe once I've read all of What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, I'll watch it. But I'm obsessed. Will continue forever and ever. This is a release day pick up and read. Yes, top of my list so far. So that's it for now. I think I'm going to read a few more and then we'll wrap up this vlog because otherwise it's going to get very, very long. Because I'll probably have to film an intro and be like, okay, this is how many I read. Here's how many more I have. You'll have part 2 later. That's where I'm feeling right now. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next clip. So here we are at the end for the final clip for this vlog. I have 5 more volumes to mention with you, and then we will kind of just do a little wrap up and end things off here. So the first one I'm going to talk about in this clip is going to be Demons of the Shadow Realm, or Daemons of the Shadow Realm. This is the new series we're getting by Himuro Arakawa, who's the same mangaka that does Full Metal Alchemist. You probably recognize their style here. In this one, we have 2 twins that are born in a remote village. One seems to be the light, one seems to be the dark, and they both have immense power. What happens is somehow they're separated at birth, and we're primarily following the light one, the one with the blonde hair, and they've been raised in this rural village, and they are to be protected by the left and the right. And the way things go down in here is really good, and it's giving me all of the Full Metal Alchemist kind of feels, and I'm just really happy with it. I'm really enjoying my time with the series so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to more. This one is a Square Enix title, so I'm not sure how fast they're going to be coming out, because I believe there's only 3 or 4 volumes in Japan so far. So I don't know how often we're going to get these, but I can definitely say you should put it on your radar because it is very, very well done. If you're a fan of Full Metal or Himuro Arakawa's work at all, I would definitely recommend picking this one up. And also if you just like an exciting, fast-paced story, this one's really going to fit well for you. Again, at points it does feel a little wordy, just because they're giving you a lot of information in this first volume, but I don't think that's going to continue throughout the series. Full Metal Alchemist will do this at times too, so I think it's just an Arakawa storytelling thing. But again, very much loved it. Would definitely recommend. The next one I have here to talk with you about is My New Life as a Cat. So in this one, a teenage boy gets transformed into a cat. They are basically unconscious, and so they're living as a stray cat who gets picked up by the squirrel and adopted by her, and he's like, well, she's cute, so I'll stay for a while. And it's just kind of shenanigans up to that point. There isn't too much plot-wise going on here. It's more slice of life. And so it's a really fun time. If you like cats and cat shenanigans, I think this will be a good, fun time for you. And again, the art style is pretty dang cute. I quite liked the art style, at least. And I would recommend giving it a try if you're interested. If you're on the fence, I would like sit at a bookstore or a library and read it before you decide. But again, I think it's a lot of fun. But it's not like super high on my collect list. I have higher things on my collect list from this video. But again, it's one that like if I wanted to pick up a couple extra things because I had a little extra money, I would definitely keep going. The next one is a very powerful series. I don't know how long it's going to be, but that is My Girlfriend's Child. In this story, we have 2 teens who are in an intimately sexual relationship, and obviously there are consequences for that. And our female lead ends up pregnant, and she doesn't want to tell her boyfriend because she doesn't want to have him change his dreams at all for her. But it comes to a point where even though she hasn't had a chance to tell him yet, she's kind of outed by a sibling. And so this is just about their dynamics. She's deciding whether she's going to keep the baby or not. There's a lot going on here. With Where This Leaves Off, I am definitely interested in the next volume. But again, this is going to be a very high emotion series. The art is stunning in it. They just have a really sweet relationship for the most part. And I just really enjoy it. It's going to be really interesting to see what these teens decide over the course of the series. And I'm just very excited to continue. So let's move on. This next one is definitely high on my collect list, and that is Call the Name of the Night, Volume 1. This is a really sweet story about a girl named Mira who seems to be drawn to all things darkness. And there's a darkness within her that is the form of night, like nighttime. And when she gets highly emotional, it tends to come out and leak out. And so now she is with her sensei here on the back, learning to control that power and to understand it. We gain some understanding on how it works a little bit better in this volume, and I am really looking forward to the next one. This one definitely has like Witch Hat Atelier, Studio Ghibli kind of vibes, and it's just a really solid start to a series. I'm very excited to continue. So if you're needing something to scratch that itch in between volumes for Witch Hat, I think this might be a good fit for you. I'm definitely going to be picking it up regularly and probably on release day or close to, because it is a very, very good series. The last one on this list is a conversation. So I finally read Marmalade Boy Volume 1. I've had this since my trip to visit Izzy, and I just had not read it yet. So here it is. And I have feelings. Not all of them good. So I don't think this series aged well. I will say that. Basically, in this setup, our main girl Miki's parents go on this trip to Hawaii. While they're there, they fall in love with the spouses in another Japanese family, and everybody all together decides, like the parents decide, they're going to divorce their current spouse and marry the one that they fell in love with on the trip 6 months later. So it would be a lot easier to explain all of that if they just said they were poly and all going to live together. But yeah. So the initial setup for that is weird and kind of clunky due to the time. And obviously our blonde boy here is her new stepbrother. Now, y'all know me, I can handle a step sibling romance just fine. I love things like mint chocolate and the brothers Kamasaki. It's one that's in Kodansha Digital Jail. I'll put it here. It's this one. And they're both step sibling romances, and I really enjoy those. But the way this one is coming across, I'm not so sure how I feel. Basically, this boy is very go with the flow, doesn't really understand or want anything for himself. So when she's like, oh, they have a son, he'll be on my side, we'll get through this. And basically, she ends up having to say yes in a way, but slowly she starts to come around to the family situation, and that's not really the problem. The problem is all of a sudden, one day, the stepbrother decides to kiss her, and she has no idea what that means. And yeah, things kind of go from there. So I am interested enough to at least read the next volume. I don't know if I'm going to purchase it. We're going to read and see. And yeah, I can definitely understand why people don't like this one. Period, end of story. Like, I get it. Again, I am curious enough that I'm probably going to try, but that doesn't mean I'm in for the long haul at this point. So right now I'm on the fence. I will give you more thoughts once I read volume 2, whenever that happens. And yes. So do I think this aged well? No. Does that mean I'm not going to finish it all? No. So that's kind of the deal with Marmalade Boy. If you want more thoughts, let me know. I might do a whole video discussion on how they could have done some things with localizing the translation that might have changed how some of this came across. But anyhow, that's that. So my friends, those are the 20 volume ones that I've read recently that I haven't shared with you yet. If you're here just because you love me, leave me your favorite fruit emoji down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
It's been raining for days now, been running like a child. Can't feel the cold, well I'm lost here with you, lost in these woods. Lost as I should.